primary rule of the dungeon is that the crawlers die, and they're expected to do so in exciting ways. Everything else about the dungeon, stats, loot, floors, timers, quests, achievements, all of it only exists to serve the machine that is the crawl. Understanding the crawl on a deeper level means understanding this phenomenal series beyond guy fights monsters with a cat, even though it does work really well on that base level. One rule defines the rest. For the game mechanics to make sense, we need to reframe our understanding of dungeon crawler world. Don't think of it as a dungeon, think of it as a film set. When Earth is taken over and everything is destroyed, the survivors are told what their new reality is. Enter the dungeon, complete all 18 floors, exit the final stairwell, and you win regency over what's left of Earth. The pitch seems simple enough, but the very concept is a misdirect. You're property of a mega corporation that has every incentive in the universe to not let you succeed. They don't hide this fact in the slightest. It's known that in the entire long history of Dungeon Crawler World, only one crawler has made it as far as the 13th floor, let alone 5 more of drastically increasing difficulty. As we go over the rules, remember each of them have an ulterior motive. The rules supposedly lay out a fair game, if you can even use that word. The not-so-subtle motivation is to make sure the audience never gets bored. The 18 floors of the crawl are meticulously planned with escalating difficulty, new themes, and various levels of bosses. All 18 floors are designed by Borant and approved by the Crawl Council. The AI running the game then builds and adapts the floors as the season runs. The first 2 floors are basically tutorial levels. You figure out your place in the whole thing, get your base stats, learn how the game's user interface works, and get to killing. Just because these floors are about getting the crawlers up to speed does not mean that they're safe. People die on the very first floor, weeding out a significant number of crawlers before the 3rd floor where the game runners consider things really getting going. There are larger story arcs the crawlers are pawns in, even more so than the localized stories, that run multiple seasons of the show for rich organizations and the audience's benefit alone. Crawlers move between floors through timed stairwells. Each floor runs on a countdown timer. Find a stairwell and descend before it hits 0 or the floor collapses and kills everyone still on it. Descend too early and you're frozen in stasis. This may seem like a safe bet, but you miss out on precious time to complete quests or kill enemies and grind experience and level up. Not only that, but you lose screen time with the audience, which makes for boring TV, meaning that you could lose favor with the masses and become even more expendable. The big takeaway from the stairwells is playing it safe punishes the crawler, and pushing things to their limit rewards them. You are now base stats. The moment a crawler enters the dungeon, the system scans them and reads everything that makes you who you are. Hundreds of stats are categorized and assigned a numerical value. Most crawlers can boil these stats down to 5 key ones: strength, raw physical power, and carrying capacity; intelligence, mental acuity, mana points for magic use, ability to comprehend advanced magic, puzzle-solving ability; constitution, overall health pool, endurance, resistance to diseases, poisons, and fatigue; dexterity, agility, reflexes, precision, dodge, and strike accuracy; charisma, how others interact with you and your ability to influence others. Do not underestimate this stat. Dungeon Crawler World is a popularity contest as much as it is a survival game. The scale on these small stats is small and unforgiving. 4 in any stat is average for a human. 6 means you're exceptional. 9 or 10 is the best a natural human has ever been. The vast majority of people walk in hovering at 3, 4, or 5 points in each stat. It's mathematically proven to each crawler that they are nothing special. In addition to your stats, you get skills. This is another arena where there are countless things measured, but only a handful matter. These change for each individual crawler based on their life experiences. This also makes room for some great comedic moments as the system scores everything, even the dumbest, most trivial skills possible. As an example, Carl comes in and gets respectable skill scores for his electrical repair experience, but receives elite ratings in the old-school arcade game Frogger. Then he scored low for breathing. The game system is meticulous, all-knowing, and petty, thinking that you're a joke. The game really begins. On the first 2 floors, you get a feel for how things work and see how your stats and skills line up with your new lot in life. You stay the species you come in as. Carl stays human and Donut stays a cat, though she is magically enhanced with some magical dungeon food. For the crawlers who reach floor 3, things get kicked way up and have some literally life-altering decisions to make. A game-assigned guide walks each crawler through options on changing your race, class, and where to spend the stat points you've earned on floors 1 and 2. The available races change per crawler, picked by the game's AI. Each race has pros and cons the crawler must balance to see what they prefer. As an example, some races hurt your base stats but open up your opportunity to train them further than is normal. Do you make an immediate sacrifice for the potential to be better later? You'd have to assume that there is a later for you. The class selection offers more options based on everything the particular crawler has done so far. The classes vary wildly and follow the dungeon trend of not seeming to take things too seriously. Boring old fighter, compensated anarchist, shotgun messenger, and former child actor are all actual options presented to people as they fight for their lives. The system gives each crawler its top 3 suggestions. These are based purely on your current skills. It does not factor in what will make the audience want to watch you. On this show, picking the safe, logical build can be a death sentence. The game guide is allowed to advise, but not tell you what to pick. Picking based on skills seems logical, but that may not play into who you are or keep the audience interested. The guide is a valuable asset. These are not drones made off the game's AI, but former crawlers serving out work contracts, the result of deals they were able to cut during their own planet's season of Dungeon Crawler World. It gives crawlers a look at their potential future. The guides are so useful in most circumstances, you lose access to them when you enter the 4th floor. Loot boxes and cruel notifications. Gear comes in the form of loot boxes. The boxes are a tiered system of quality. The higher ranked the loot box, the better the potential gear inside is. Bronze is at the bottom, with the familiar silver, gold, and platinum going up. Later in the game, for big accomplishments, a crawler may be lucky enough to get a celestial box or another top-tier box. Early on, the boxes are largely bronze and give basic items like torches and bandages. As the difficulty progresses, so do the boxes and rewards. Boxes are primarily earned through achievements. Achievements are one place the game's AI really has fun. These are not set achievements or trophies like in Earth's typical game mechanics. The AI decides them on the fly. They're generally funny, mean, or downright strange. They can also be very inconsistent. Sometimes an achievement is rewarded with no prize to go with it is just another way for the AI to mock the crawler. The reward names can be crude enough that I wouldn't want to repeat them on the channel, not to mention the fact that retelling a joke is never as good as being surprised by it as intended. These are a great indication of the tone of the whole series. The game itself mocks you while you're at your worst, but trying your best. There's a couple other wrinkles to loot boxes where a crawler sponsor can send something, assuming the AI clears it, directly to their crawler. Or the audience can vote on what is to be put in a box and given to the crawler. More often than not, the audience version is done as a joke more than a genuine reward. Who lives and who dies? Your survival depends as much on your popularity as it does your power. A very powerful crawler who the audience hates will be put in increasingly unfair situations until they can't cope anymore. But a popular crawler, though they'll receive some measure of special treatment, can still be killed by mobs or a dungeon boss if they aren't powerful or clever enough to get by. The 1st floor is not even aired live to the audience. This weeding out the weak is boiled down to a highlight reel, usually showing terrified crawlers dying in fantastical ways. By floor 2, when the game streams live, crawlers are given new metrics ripped from our own toxic social media. Views, followers, and favorites. Very real metrics that let you know how much the audience cares if you die or not. By the 4th floor, crawlers can pick up sponsors, with the hopes of getting one of those special loot boxes that I covered a bit ago. Sponsors won't pay to prop up an unpopular crawler. This is not an altruistic endeavor. They advertise on your personal feed to get a return on their investment in you. For Dungeon Crawler World Earth, each crawler is limited to 3 total sponsors. Potential sponsors have the right to bid for rights. Safe places aren't safe. Safe room access points are scattered throughout the dungeon. This is a space where combat is prohibited and violating the rule has consequences. Crawlers can eat, rest, use the bathroom, and buy upgrades. Early on, they're pretty bare bones, but functional. A place to take a quick rest. As the dungeon progresses, the safe areas become more like a crawler's home and can be endlessly customized. Not for free, of course. Nothing in the dungeon comes without a hefty cost, even downtime. Without delving into spoilers, mechanics are added that make sure crawlers can't hide out for too long in their safe spaces, because that makes for boring content. The rules are the point. In most stories, establishing the rules of the world is the framework the story is built on, something that has to be done out of necessity. In Dungeon Crawler Carl, this scaffolding is just as important as any other character. The machine everyone's stuck in basically is a character. the villain of the story. There's an evil corporation overseeing everything, which is a major point of the series. This fantastically entertaining lit RPG is a sharp satire of entertainment, monetization, and how people can become a mob. We'll watch anything, even if it's horrific, as long as there's some entertainment value in it. Carl sees it, and makes sure that we do too. Check out this video for more on who Carl and Donut are. See you on the next floor.